Why is their defense bad though? I want to discuss that. Why do they have a bad
Did you
defense?
think Anthony Davis' defense was good yesterday?
I don't think his
he had
defense
some
was good at
moments.
all.
He had one
But
play where
Tajay
I thought he made some really good rotations. He had this
Goog
one
is
block
real
that
good.
was
Goog is
crazy.
real good.
But
That's
I mean,
fine.
chill. When your point guard's coming down the floor, bring the ball up, and he sees a combination of Reeves, D'Lo, Reeves connect, he's going off. Like, I mean, if he's going down the floor and seeing that, he's not seeing like an A+ athlete. It's free. I mean, you saw Suggs get 23. Like RJ Barrett had 30. Grady Dick had like 30. Like these guards are coming down the floor.
They're getting dominated in the backcourt. Like I talk a lot about Milwaukee's woes on defense with their perimeter players. The Lakers are just as bad. Lakers are just as bad, if not worse, if you consider what they have. If you can consider what they have. And I think more than anything, the effort isn't there with these guys. Because if you remember in the FIBA World Games, Austin Reeves was a guy that they went after. They picked on him, but he would put some effort in. But they definitely picked on him. D'Angelo Russell, he's one of those guys, if he's not making shots, he's useless. There's no reason for him to be on the floor because that's all he does is make shots. That's it. Gabe Vincent has become a minus on both sides of the basketball. And just defensively, this team on the wings, they don't guard. Cam Reddish, these guys don't guard at a high level. And I think that's largely due. I don't think it's the schemes. I think it's the athletes that they have.
It's pure athleticism. They're not quick enough on the perimeter to guard some of these quick guards who all they have to do is make one or two moves and boom, they're at the basket. They already got us in rotation. We're not strong enough. We're not athletic enough. And that's really the only thing that's holding this team back. Because you look at this team offensively, they're one of the best offenses in the league, in my opinion. They got shooters.
You can't argue that, Swiper. They do.
Their offense is
good. They're one of the best offenses. They have two of the best players in the entire league.
Bench.
Dalton Connect changes everything. But I mean,
changes what? Changes what?
Russell. I mean, those are just negative players. D'Angelo Russell's been a negative the entire season. He hasn't scored 20 at all this season. At all. Now, he's coming off the bench for most of the season, but D'Angelo Russell's going 3 for 10 in many of these games.
Timeout. No, you're winning. You realize that D'Angelo's been a part of some of your best lineups on the year, right?
I mean, he's added some good playmaking for sure. And off the bench, he had some solid games. Man, I'm just watching him play. He's letting people back cut on him. He's shooting these.
Who's not? But who's not? You said Dalton Connect saving y'all. Who's not getting beat for back cuts on that team?
Oh, everyone. But he's shooting these nonchalant threes. And then I got to put in Gabe Vincent for 10 to 15 minutes. And he is doing worse than nothing. Like, can you do worse than nothing?
No, you can't. I don't think.
But that's what I feel like Gabe Vincent does. They make this trade. I hate the thing about basketball is we're always talking about trades. If they can just make a trade and get a solid athletic guy on the perimeter who you can also rely on to make a three, this team can go pretty far. But as of right now, I'm not going to take this team that seriously.
Who is that, though?
Well,
that's what I got to figure out.
But if you look at just defensively, this year, the Lakers, they're supposed to be predicated on Anthony Davis being one of the best rim protectors in the league. But do you know that the Lakers are on per dunks and threes, they are the 4th worst rim defense team in the league right now?
It's also true because outside Anthony Davis, who's protecting that rim? I mean, you have Jackson Hayes, who's out for a long time. You have no Seawood. You're not banging on those guys protecting the rim that much, and then you got this backup guy. Outside of Anthony Davis, you got no one protecting the rim. You also don't have Rui Hachimura, too. Just not really great defenders.
And you guys on the wings are cones. Because if you think about it, Swiper, every time you turn around, somebody's getting to the rim. Now, don't get me wrong. To have a rim protector like what Milwaukee got in Brook Lopez, I mean, he's one of the better rim protectors in the game. Sure, I'll give you that. But when you got these guys consistently getting downhill, and I'm always on the defense, always. Like, none of these guys are getting slowed down. Every time I turn around, somebody's getting to the rim. That wears on your defense. As opposed to when you got 19th,
they're 19th in the NBA in terms of like shots allowed at the rim. So I mean, it's not like it's not hard. It's not like it's not this. They're a little better.
So if they're almost in the bottom 10 and getting shots at the rim, if that's true, then how is it possible that Anthony Davis, being the rim protector that he is, they are so bad? Why is that? That doesn't make any sense to me. So it sounds like somebody's not getting their numbers correct because Anthony Davis is one of the better rim protectors in the game. He's always been one of the better rim protectors in the game. Sounds like the numbers don't match up. That doesn't.
Well,
doesn't
Anthony
I think
Davis
I
is
think the
his-
point being made is maybe Anthony Davis hasn't been.
Well,
as
but
impactful
no.
defensively
And
as he
I'm asking. This is a legitimate question, y'all. Because again, I really want to ask this question. The Lakers right now, they're winning 80 minutes by 1 point per possession every game, and so I'm trying to, or 1 point per game. I'm trying, so in terms of net rating, I'm trying to figure out what do y'all feel like the Lakers could do to help win those make those Anthony Davis minutes, which is he's their best player right now. Respect LeBron, so I mean I think LeBron's still top 10. What do you think they can actually do to help to win those minutes more? Like what do they need to give AD to maximize those minutes more?
defenders.
Okay.
Yeah, just
So
more
like Vando, Cam Reddish, Max Christie, and just put them out there.
Well, wait a
Well,
minute.
you still need offense. You can't just go all defense and have no offense because AD is once again he's still a play finisher at this point for the most part. But you need athletes, you need defenders. The reason that rim defense is so bad, in my opinion, is because it's not always AD at the rim. Teams have become very adept at removing the rim protector from the basket in terms of who they have in the dunker spot, who they have in the weak side corner, and all of those things. And then AD is such a Swiss Army knife defensively. If you have him playing up, that means you've got, when Rui's healthy, Rui Hachimura backline defense, or LeBron with his motor backline. That's why their rim defense is so bad. When AD's down there, I'm fairly confident he's doing his job for the most part. But his motor in the regular season defensively has never been the highest in like the last 3 years. It's never been the highest. I don't expect it to be. But I think if there was a list of problems in LA, Anthony Davis isn't even on the list.
Yeah, he's at the very top of why they're good.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna hold much against Anthony Davis in terms of how their defense looks, but there is also the fact of the matter is that most all-time defenders can floor raise a defense better than Anthony Davis probably can. But I don't really hold.
Yeah, but what is that though? Like,
But,
I guess that's the same thing with the Luka offense thing too. Like, what is it that's not allowing him to do that? Do you think it's just the offensive responsibility he's had to pick up? And then Chill, please ask your question.
I think some of it's offensive responsibility. Some of it is just AD's defense is made for the postseason. He's someone who can play any coverage. When you have a game plan that centers AD defensively, he can shut down series on his own. Go back to 2023 against Memphis and then Golden State. Played defensively 2 different styles, but was able to just destroy opponents with how versatile he is. Over an 82-game season, when you aren't making those adjustments on a game-by-game basis, or you got Minnesota 1-9 and you got to go all the way and play against New Orleans or something, like his impact isn't as high in the regular season because of that, in my opinion. But that doesn't take away from how good he is defensively. I just think some people are postseason defenders, some people are regular season defenders, and then some people are both. And then, but I think I'm gonna value Anthony Davis defense always, and I don't ever question it. But I don't think he's been the most impactful regular season defender in a few years. But I still think he's the best defender in the league. So,
well, I was asking the question because Mars, you brought up a point about Anthony Davis being a Swiss Army knife and them doing everything that they could to keep the action away from Anthony Davis, to drag him away from the basket. I'm confident that JJ Redick, who actually shows that he's a really competent coach. I can't say that about Darvin Ham, but I can say that about JJ Redick. He actually is a competent coach where he recognizes they're trying to keep you away from the rim so they can get to the rim. I think that's the idea with anybody. Like, let's get this big guy away from the rim so we can get to the rim. Well, if that's part of the game plan and they know that, wouldn't they put Anthony Davis in different spaces where he can stay closer to the rim? As opposed to, okay, we're just going to allow these teams to let Anthony Davis get dragged away from the rim. Well, we can't do that because he's our best rim protector. He's our best shot blocker. He's our best rebounder. So we can't just have these teams just letting them drag him away from the rim. So we got to put a better scheme in where that way he's not as away from the rim as he should be, as much as they want him to be.
Well, right now it's pretty hard to do because their front line's pretty thin. I mean, Christian Wood, Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, Jackson Hayes, all those guys, all their guys who are employed above like 6'8", they're not healthy right now. So right now it's kind of hard to do. That's why, again, maybe go get a backup big at the deadline, but they're just not healthy right now around Anthony Davis. And they got this other guy playing right now. Not really familiar with this game, but they got this other backup big playing. He played a couple minutes. Not
talking about Koloko?
Yeah.
From Toronto.
Yeah.
Christian
Koloko.
Christian Toronto.
He played hard. I think he
He'll
had
give you
some.
minutes.
I think he had some blood clot issue or something. That
He'll give you
something
minutes.
like that. I think the problem is defense. So much of defense is about like what you take away. So like it's hard to measure like what someone's actually doing on defense. Like we can look at the Lakers rim numbers, but it's like how many things did they try to go to before they ultimately ended up getting to the rim? Anthony Davis, if you try and do your best to keep Anthony Davis near the rim, it's more than likely you're going to end up giving up something a lot earlier than you do as you currently use Anthony Davis.
Now, when you say
And
earlier, Miles, like a 3 or something like that.
something to that effect. Anthony Davis is so valuable because their guards are so bad at the point of attack. Outside of Cam Reddish, I think Cam Reddish has actually been pretty good defensively, but they're so bad that Anthony Davis is playing high in pick and rolls. He's containing the ball handler. Then when they reverse the ball to the other side, Anthony Davis is now at the wing because he had to go help on the pick and roll, and that opens up drives to the basket. If you have Anthony Davis playing the deep drop, that probably gives up the first shot because his guards can't get around screens. So it's like, yeah, they're scoring well at the rim, but it's because Anthony Davis is doing so much to save the guards on the first action. If you have to then take away Anthony Davis' impact on the first action, your defense is just going to still be bad. It's just going to be bad in a different way. Anthony Davis is trying to plug up holes everywhere. And it's like, at some point, we just have to accept the boat is going to sink. Like, there's only so much taping together Anthony Davis can do for this defense. They need better personnel. I don't know who they have to acquire, but they need better defensive personnel. It's just all Vanderbilt needs to get healthy.
They still have their 2 first-round picks. They got D'Lo. Austin Reeves obviously is near untouchable for them. He's making only $12 million a year on really good value for them. But to the Lakers' credit, JJ Redick has been smart about it. Their production threes, they're 6th in the NBA in 3-point defense, meaning the lowest percentage of 3-pointers allowed in the NBA at 40.8. So that's really good. You know what I mean? You want to stay around those numbers. Like, and again, 3-point volume, a lot of that is just simply variance. There's a lot of things that go into a team for hitting threes against you or not. But I think the Lakers, man, like I think they're utilizing their personnel the best they can. And I think JJ Redick, and also I want to give Darvin Ham credit too, because he did this. He just didn't get credit for it. Turning up into an offensive team, they just realized they don't have the personnel. And so we're going to score. And we can basically score with anyone on any given night. But Chill and Casual and Mars, I want to even just give credit to the Orlando Magic. They win 119 to 118. You look at the Orlando Magic side, Jalen Suggs, 23, 5-5 on 7 of 18, 5 of 13 from 3. Franz Wagner, 37, 6 and 11 assists on 13 of 26. Mad efficient game for him. Yeah. And then Tristan De Silva, 12, 4 and 1. And then you Batazde, 7, 15 rebounds and 3 of 4. And he was a plus 13
on the glass yesterday.
Dominating on the glass yesterday. And then the vintage, formerly known as the future next generation Kawhi Leonard, Gary Harris, 11, 1 and 1 on 4, 7 and 3, 6 from 3.
Yo, I don't know if I like.
How impressed are you, Chill, with the Magic?
I am very impressed with them. I think that they're a team to be reckoned with. If Banchero can get healthy, I mean, I think they're going to be a real problem. I've never questioned.
No Wendell Carter.
No KCP. No Wendell Carter. I'm not a huge Wendell Carter fan. I never really liked him that much. I didn't think he was that dominant around the basket as he should be. But with that being said, I was always a fan of Orlando's defense. I always felt like just as a perimeter defending team, they always played really good defense. Now, Banchero, with getting Banchero back, who I think is their best passer, once he gets back, I think they're going to be even better. But I feel like they're as good as Franz was yesterday in terms of being a bucket getter. I mean, that's not the norm for Orlando. Orlando's offense isn't very good. Let's be clear about that. It's not like Orlando is going to light the scoreboard up. No, they're not. A lot of their stuff is predicated on their defense. And I thought they did a good job defensively last night overall. I'm not buying James. I don't know if I love James going for 30. I don't love that. No, I really don't love James going. The reason why I don't love James going for 30, because I think that that's something that's going to be expected on the regular. And that's not realistic for James, if we're being honest. But what I do like is I do like Orlando's rotation. I do. And I think Mosley does a really good job more than any of all the stuff that he does defensively. I think he does a really good job at managing minutes. Mars, the more I watch Jonathan Isaac, I just want him on the floor more. I do. I want to see him more, but I understand why he can't be out there for 30, 35 minutes. I do understand that. Because he just looks like he needs to be watching Jonathan Isaac. He just looks like a guy who, he needs to be on the floor. But I understand why he's not.